an animal, they drop their voices to a whisper, so they're talking almost entirely in clicks, which makes a lot of sense to me. The clicks are high-pitched noises, they don't travel far through the bush, so the hunters aren't going to scare off their quarry. Equipped with language and hunting skills, we flourished and began to do something else, spread out. We don't know for sure which routes they took, but new evidence shows that very early on, modern humans were living at the extreme southern edge of the continent. I'm heading along the South African coast to a place called Pinnacle Point. Today, it's a playground for the rich. But during the construction of this golf course, archaeologists discovered something amazing deep beneath the fairway. This could be the oldest known dwelling of our species anywhere in the world. So this is where you've been digging?
This is the oldest part of the cave.
What are the dates here then as we go down through these layers?
These layers date from 130 to 167,000 years ago.
It's just so incredibly ancient.
It's amazing.
Did you know how important what you were excavating really was?
Not until we got those dates. But yeah, amazing, stunning.
The evidence in this cave reveals that those ancient families were behaving in ways quite unlike previous species of human. Well, Kyle, that's not from this cave, is it? Because I recognise this. This is a hand axe, isn't it?
That's correct. Now, that's more typical of what you would find from about 1.5 million years ago to about 300,000 years ago.
So what sort of thing were you finding in the cave, then?
Okay, well, tools like these, blades and points, are much more typical of what we find in this cave. Made on quartzite, locally available on the beach down here. And in our oldest levels here, alongside these types of tools, we also have these very small bladelet tools.
These are tiny. What could such minute blades have been used for? Obviously, these weren't used just in your hand like this, so how would they have been used?
It's more likely that those were set in some kind of a handle to make a compound tool, maybe something more like this. This is a series of small blades set into a handle for use as a knife.
Yes, I think that would work. So you think that's how these stone tools were used then, as a knife?
That's one possibility, and it's also possible they would have been used for hunting weapons.
Kyle and his team have discovered you can make some lethal weapons with these bladelets. This one looks particularly vicious, I think.
This is one interpretation of how those small back blades might have been mounted. The advantage to this would be that there's these barbs that would prevent the tip from pulling out immediately and would inflict a greater injury.
So by 160,000 years ago, those early, resourceful families seem to have colonized much of Africa. But what about the rest of the world? How did some of those ancient wanderers get out of Africa to become me and perhaps you? It's one of the most baffling mysteries of our origins. Africa south of the Sahara is cut off from the rest of the planet. To the west, south, and east, ocean. To the north, the vast deserts of the Sahara